Hello everyone, I hope you're safe and healthy and welcome to another lesson in discourse analysis. In the same regard, approaches to discourse analysis, this time it's going to be pragmatics uh, by Grace 75, Leach 83, Brown and Levinson 87. Pragmatics is a field of linguistics concerned with what a speaker implies and a listener infers based on contributing factors like the situational context. As we have seen, that context uh, is a factor in interpreting a message. So the individual's mental status, okay, how is this uh, mental status for an individual? The preceding dialogue and other elements. So this is pragmatics. It focuses on how do people communicate more than what the words or phrases of their utterances might mean by themselves, and how do people make these interpretations. So why do people choose to say or interpret something in one way rather than another? That's the focus of pragmatics. How do people's perceptions of contextual factors, for example, who the interlocutors are, what is their relationship, okay, and what circumstances they are communicating in, influence the process of producing and interpreting language. So according to Grace, he contributed a lot to the field of pragmatics. He came up with so-called cooperative principles. Cooperative principle is a principle proposed by Paul Grace whereby those involved in communication assume that both parties will normally seek to cooperate with each other to establish agreed meaning. So both participants, both people when they want to communicate, they both have to assume a some sorts some types of or some cooperative principles. So according to this principle, we interpret language on the assumption that its sender is obeying some maxims. Four maxims we have. These four maxims are the cooperative principles. So we have maxim of quantity, which means that in conversation you are assumed to make your contribution as informative as is required for the current purpose of the exchange. Do not make your contribution more informative than is required. So basically, when you communicate, say exactly what you have to say and don't give like extra uh, uh, redundant information. So just say what you have to say, be as informative as possible or as required, and that's it. That's the maximum of quantity. Maximum of quality, do not say what you believe to be false. Do not say that for which you lack evidence. So basically, in quality, don't lie, don't tell a lie, and don't tell something to which you lack evidence for. Okay, so if you don't have evidence for something, you cannot come and tell something, for example, a scientific fact which you have no idea about. It could be a scientific fact or anything, information or anything. If you don't have evidence, then don't say it because it might be false. The maximum of relevance, be relevant to the topic under discussion. When you are having a conversation, be relevant to the topic you're discussing. Don't jump from another topic to another before you finish the first one. Maximum of manner, avoid obscurity of expression. That is, avoid ambiguity. Be brief, precise, and orderly. Tell your information in order. These maxims, of course, in conversation, in natural occurring conversations, we sometimes flout these maxims. So, what does this mean? The situations where a speaker deliberately fails to observe a maxim, not with any intention of deceiving or misleading. So a cooperative speaker can intentionally disobey a maxim as long as he or she or the context provides enough indicators for the hearer to notice it. So this is called flouting a maxim and is used to indirectly convey information. For example, when you tell an irony or a sarcasm, you say something, but the meaning, for example, is the opposite because you are just being sarcastic. Grace's conversational implicature is an indirect or implicit speech act. What is meant by speaker utterances that is not part of what is explicitly said. So when we talk about implicature, means sometimes you say something, but the meaning of your utterance is not exactly what the literal meaning of uh, of your utterance. It's something deep, okay, something that only the speaker and the hearer can sometimes understand. The speaker, of course, understands, but sometimes the hearer may understand what you imply by something, and they may not understand it because the meaning is implicit. So floating the maxim of quantity of quality, we're going to see how we sometimes float a maxim. So we are just what I have written here in the blue, just a repetition of the maxim. Just remind you of the maxim and then show you how it is floated. So maxim of quality. Don't say what you believe to be false. This is the maxim. How do we float this maxim? What, for example, what an amazing baseball player John is, said right after John didn't catch the ball. So you're looking, for example, at a baseball game, and John didn't catch the ball, and then you say sarcastically, "What an amazing basketball player John is." Here, this is floating a maxim. You are floating the maxim of quality because this is false. This is not true. Negative comment on John's abilities through irony. Maximum of quality disobeyed. So here you disobey or flout the maxim of quality and you say something that is sometimes opposite of what the letter meaning of your utterance is. Now, flouting the maxim of relevance. I'll just remind you again, maxim of relevance means say things that are relevant to the topic under discussion. How do we float this maxim? You see, they have some examples here. Is Joe dating anyone these days? This is a conversation. The other person says, well, she goes to Cleveland every weekend. Okay, so the second person that is who responded here, he is not being relevant. So this is maxim of relevance. The answer is not related to the question. Look at the example number 2. Will Bob go to that party? Is the Pope Catholic? You see? So the answer has nothing to do or is irrelevant to the question. This is an example of flouting a maxim of relevance. Now, flouting the maxim of manner. Maxim of manner means avoid obscurity of expression. Sorry, avoid ambiguity. Be brief, be orderly. Okay, don't be vague. These maxims relate to the form of speech you use. You shouldn't use words you know your listeners won't understand. Say things which you know would be misunderstood, could be Say things which you know could be misunderstood and state events briefly. Now this is the opposite. Say things which you know could not be misunderstood. Sorry, could not be. Say things which you know could not be misunderstood and state events briefly and following the natural order of events. So don't say something that you think it might be misunderstood. Right. So say things which you know could not be misunderstood. Right. So let's move to the examples to make these this floating of maxim of manner uh, more clear. The postmaster says, "Here is your 5-cent stamp, shopper, with arms full of bundles. Do I have to stick it on myself?" Postman, no, on the envelope. So here you are using with arms full of bundles. So you are being uh, ambiguous, obscure. Okay, this is not clear, and this is the float of how people float the maxim of manner. Floating the maxim of quantity. Maxim of quantity. Make your contribution as informative as is required. Do not make your contribution more informative than is required. Okay, don't add, don't give extra information, just give exact information that you have. Don't add more information and keep talking and talking more than required, more than is required. So we usually assume that people are telling us everything we need to know. If they don't say something, then we assume they simply don't know what the information. So for example, I met John and Mary the other day. They have 2 children now. Are they planning on having a third? Well, actually, they already have a third child. You see? So you said in the second response said, are they planning, or let's look at the first one. I met John and Mary the other day. They have 2 children. So normally they have 3 children, and then the person said they have 2 children. So first he said 2, and then when the other person asked him about the third person, he confirmed that they have 3 children. 3 children. So this is the float of the maximum of quantity. So the second person in B should, or the first person should, at the beginning, confirm or say that there are 3 children, but he only said 2, and then later on said 3. So the quantity of the information is plotted here. Now let's look at the contribution of Leach to pragmatics. A central concept in pragmatics is politeness. It's a very important notion in pragmatics. It has been proposed by Leach, 1980-1983, that politeness is another level to conversational interaction besides the rules of the cooperative principle. So politeness is also another level of conversation interaction. People want to interact. If there is, of course, no politeness, then the conversation might just end. So the politeness is very important in maintaining a conversation. Leach, Leach's view of politeness involves a set of politeness maxims analogous to Grice's maxims. Among these are Leach 1983, page 132. So we're going to look at maxims that Leach came up with. So we have tact maxim, minimize cost to other, maximize benefit to other. So for example, do not tell someone, hand me the newspaper. This sentence is like a threat. Hand me the newspaper. Here you are maximizing cost to others, so we shouldn't use it. You have to minimize cost to other and maximize benefit to other. For example, have another sandwich. So here you are maximizing benefit to the other person. Another maxim Leach talks about is called generosity maxim. Generosity maxim basically means, if we look at the word generosity, it's like benefit. So minimize benefit to yourself, right? And the maximum is cost to self. Let's see the examples. For example, take a look at the second example. We must come and have dinner with you. This is maximize cost to other, because when you have a dinner with someone else, they are the ones that have to take care of dinner and buy everything that is needed and prepare dinner, etc. So we are maximizing cost to the other person. Instead, it should minimize it. So, for example, we have you must. So look at the first sentence. You must come and have dinner with us. So here you are maximizing cost to yourself and minimizing benefit to yourself. Another maxim is called approbation maxim. Minimize this price of others, maximize price of other. For example, you say her performance was outstanding. This is maximize price of others. So here you are prizing someone. But if you say her performance was not so good as it might have been, here you are maximizing this price of others. Modesty maxim. Minimize price of self, maximize this price of self. Minimize price of self, that is, do not price yourself very much. Just be as minimum as possible and maximize this price of self. For example, how stupid of me. Here, and look at how clever of me. So if you say how clever of me, here you are maximizing price of self. How clever of me. It's like you are prizing yourself. It should be the opposite. Do not maximize price of self. Minimize it and maximize this price of self. When you say how stupid of me, here you are maximizing this price of yourself. You are describing yourself as stupid after a very bad thing, for example, after you done very bad thing or being stupid by something. Anyway, so this modesty maxim, and then we have agreement maxim. Minimize disagreement between self and other. Maximize agreement between self and other. So you minimize disagreement and you maximize agreement. This one is very clear. In fact, all of them are clear, but just to remember all these maxims, you just have to read them over and over and try to understand what they basically mean, and then you just remember them. They're not that difficult. So we have it is an interesting exhibition, wasn't it? It is an interesting, wasn't it? So what does the other person say? Yes, definitely. So here the other person is maximizing agreement. He is he strongly agrees with you on this, on the fact that the exhibition is or was interesting. The other person, no, it was very uninteresting. So we just here we're only to look at one answer, either yes definitely or no it was very uninteresting. If you say yes definitely, you are maximizing agreement. If you say no, it was very uninteresting, here you are maximizing or the disagreement. So minimize disagreement and maximize agreement. Sympathy, Maxim, minimize antipathy between self and other, maximize sympathy between self and other. For example, I am terribly sorry to hear that your cat died. This is here you sympathize with the other person. I am terribly pleased to to hear that your cat died. You see here you are being you are not being sympathized. I'm terribly pleased to hear that your cat died. Instead, say I'm terribly sorry to hear that your cat died. So here you basically maximize sympathy and you minimize antipathy. The last part of this lesson is we're going to look at Brown and Levinson contribution to pragmatics. So they developed Kaufman's theory of face into a theory of politeness, and it talks about positive and negative face. Having regard for another person's face or image is an important aspect of politeness. So Brown and Levinson also talks about politeness. So Brown and Levinson propose that we want to guard our face. Our face here is like your public image. So we want to guard our face against possible damage when we interact with others. So they distinguish between positive and negative face. Negative face is the want of every competent adult member of a community that their actions be unembedded by others, not to be imposed upon. So this negative face is the want of every competent adult member. So for example, this is just like when you desire everything, you want anything, and you don't want anyone to impose anything on you. Do not impose, not to be imposed upon. So this person has a negative face, a negative public image, because he wants everything and he doesn't want anyone to impose anything on him or her. Positive face is the want of every member that their wants, it's like their desire, your want, things that you want, be desirable to at least some others. Positive face is like you want to be liked. Okay, you act in a society, for example, in a way that pleases the others, and you want to be liked and admired. So that's the positive face. Brown and Levinson suggest that it is useful to distinguish two types of politeness: negative politeness and positive politeness. Negative politeness refers to an action, phrase, or utterance that indicates attention is being paid to the negative face, to the negative face wants of an interlocutor. This means that when you show that you are avoiding intruding on the other person's life. For example, you say, "Excuse me," before asking for something. Being apologetic, "Sorry to bother you, but..." Being indirect, "I don't seem to have a pen with me." So you are waiting for the others to give you a pen. You are expecting it when you say something like this. This is negative politeness. It's polite, it is politeness, but it's negative. Okay? And then we have positive politeness. It's an action, phrase, or utterance that indicates attention is being paid to the positive response of an interlocutor. This is when you show people that they are liked, admired, and included. For example, you pay them compliments. "What a lovely dress." You hear this is a positive politeness to compliment someone. Taking an interest in their well-being. For example, you meet someone and say, "How are you?" It's a positive politeness. You show that you care about that person. Making it obvious you enjoy their company. This is nice. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to know you, for example. So uh, this is positive politeness. Well, this is it. Thank you guys for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to the channel. And if there is anything that you don't understand, leave it in the comment. I'll describe and try to explain it for you further. And I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much. Take care.